I know that we're here celebrating Kemba. How does it feel to kind of be in this room on the carpet celebrating this film amongst so much Black excellence and just Black joy?
Yes, it is full circle for us, for the Kemba team, because when you watch Kemba is based on a true story of Kemba Smith, which was national news in the 90s. She was wrongfully sentenced to 24 and a half years. But the people who fought to get her out, a lot of organizations did, but the ones who fought was the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So to be on this carpet at the NAACP Image Awards talking about Kemba, spreading her story and bringing awareness of the issues of mandatory minimum sentencing laws is such a blessing. It's just full circle.
That's amazing, and I love that synchronicity for you. It's beautiful, and talking about like powerful stories like Kemba's. We want to talk a little bit too about your film Jagged Mind, which is this wonderful kind of like queer horror film set in Little Haiti. It's such an important piece of representation, especially for queer communities who don't always see themselves represented on screen. So what was like what empowered you to kind of like make that film and to be advocating on behalf of this community?
So I didn't think I was going to get the job when I pitched it because the script was different. The script had two beautiful white women living in Manhattan at an art gallery, and while we may not have seen the two white women together, or we have seen the white galleries and the like, we've seen that before. So I went into the pitch saying, hey, look, we've seen this before, and I think that we need to move this somewhere else, and because there's magical elements, we need to put it somewhere that is believes in magic, so it could feel like maybe this could happen to you. And so I pitched New Orleans. Then they ended up saying Miami, and they wanted like South Beach, but I said, well, that's a lot like Manhattan. So I said, well, we're going to have to do Little Haiti, but we need to be very careful about that because I do not want people to feel like voodoo is the bad magic. The stone is its own thing, but so we added more Haitian characters, made sure that Haitian Creole was spoken, and then another big thing was for me to have a Black lead. So because I felt like having the diversity in that couple would not only, there's already tension, as you know, the storyline, but there's an outside unspoken social tension with interracial couples, and so that's already putting these other layers onto it. And so that's why Jagged Mind became what it did, which I think gave it so much more color, so much more depth, and you know, our actors were phenomenal, our writer, and it was such a fun film, and it's still on Hulu, so if people want to watch it.
Yes. I love that so much, and it's so great to hear just like the way you advocated for that film and the way that you kind of took the lead there. And I think so often as Black women in Hollywood and in entertainment, we meet a lot of pushback sometimes. Like often, a lot of times we're expected to be able to kind of like shoulder these things, to make these films make a difference the way that you have with your work, and kind of expected to handle it all, and put ourselves on the back burner. So I'm wondering how you sustain yourself in this work, and just how you take care of and prioritize your health and well-being.
So I make sure I choose films and stories that I care about. Because if you don't care about it, all that weight's going to get a little bit heavier than normal. But when you care, you don't mind shouldering that because you know that there's a purpose. Like another thing about Jagged Mind that I appreciate what our writer, what she did, was it wasn't a coming out story or anybody like, you know, fighting to be. They were just a couple. It just drops right into their dating life. They're just a couple. It's not discussed. It's just they're human beings. And so having a story like that to be able to and incorporate different cultures into it, that was important to me. So yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it's hard shooting in Little Haiti in the middle of the summer in Florida. It was challenging. And also advocating, but I had some great executives too that really saw what we were trying to do. But yes, girl, yes. You need to make sure you care about what you're doing because that weight is not going, if you're doing this, that weight's not going anywhere. You need to want to be able to carry it through the finish line. And if you don't care, you gonna drop it somewhere.
Yes. I'm wondering what you're most excited about for tonight.
For tonight?
Yes.
I think I'm most excited about, I love me some Queen Latifah.
Yes. So do we. So do
Yeah,
we.
so I'm with her hosting. I just can't wait because she's so, she doesn't know this, but I'm an Academy Gold Fellow, like my short won the Student Oscar, right? And so I got to go to the Academy, and I got to bring my 80-year-old Black aunt from the South, to the Academy, and they tell you when you're lining up to do the carpet, don't, you might see Nicki Minaj, you might see whoever, right, and like don't say anything, like just walk, right? So I'm with my little 80-year-old aunt, and she sees Queen Latifah, and she just beelines over to her, and she's like, I just had to say hello to the Queen, and I'm like, oh my God, she's doing exactly what they told us not to do. But Queen Latifah, because my aunt's little, the Queen is like, she came all the way down, and she's like, well, it is so nice to meet. She was the most precious, darling, didn't let it affect her that someone was fanning out over her, and just doesn't matter how big she is, how known she is, she still has that respect for our elders, respect for and I love me some Queen Latifah, so that's that.
Agreed. That's such a sweet story, too. Thank you so much for sharing that. One last question for you. You have produced these really powerful stories, and I think your work is kind of like leading change, too, within the kind of realm of Black storytelling. What do you think is in store for the future of Black storytelling, especially when it comes to diverse communities, LGBTQ people?
Yeah.
What do you think is on the horizon?
Well, the NAACP is about to partner with CBS, and I think that that's fantastic because it's this cross-collaboration on these larger networks with different audiences outside of our network, and I think it's important. We are not an island. We need to have allies. We need people to know that we're not a monolith, that stories that have been perpetuating negative stereotypes of Black people for nearly 100 years, maybe more now, needs to change. And it's great that there is movements behind the scene, because a lot of people think like, oh, okay, we're getting more Black actors. Oh, we're getting more Black directors. It's the executives we need. We need more Black executives. We need more LGBTQ plus executives. We need the people who greenlight these stories in those seats. And so I'm seeing that moving, and I'm seeing that change, and that's what I'm excited for.
Amazing, and we are so excited too. Well, thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Kelley Kali, the director of Jagged Mind and Kemba, and I like to give a shout out to GLAAD, and I love and support my LGBTQ plus family up and down, left and right, forever and ever and ever. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.